So, hello everyone. I'm Rahul Gaikwad, and I'm a student at Indian Institute of Management, Tirupalli. And today I'll talk mainly about the industry, especially the manufacturing industry that we have in our country, and what are the problems, why the manufacturing industry is not able to create enough jobs in our country, or why the manufacturing has been kind of stagnated uh, for a very long period of time, and what India needs to do to improve the manufacturing sector or create more jobs in our country. So let's get started with that. So despite a very substantial reduction in the share of agriculture, uh, reduction in the share of agriculture output in the GDP, the share of industry in general and especially the manufacturing has not grown since 1990. The organized sector, which consists of 10 or more workers and that use power, or 20 or more workers and do not use power, have more or less remained capital intensive or skilled labor intensive. Also, the transition of people from the agriculture to the non-agriculture sector has been really very slow in our country. And all this indicates that manufacturing is still in India still not able to create enough jobs. So what could be the solution for this? So it has been argued that the main reason for the stagnation of manufacturing in our country has been mainly the has been due to lack of unskilled labor-intensive jobs in our country. So it has been argued that rapid growth in unskilled labor-intensive job is likely to create more jobs and opportunities for the poor people in rapid skilled labor-intensive sectors. So it is in the unskilled labor sector that India has been unsuccessful, and that is the reason why manufacturing has been so far stagnated and not able to create enough jobs in our country. So what could be the solution? So this is one solution that has been argued that it is because of this unskilled labor intensive lack of unskilled labor intensive jobs we are not able to grow in the manufacturing sector. But there's a problem with this argument, and the problem is the technology. So what has happened is that the technology has so much shifted in the favor of skilled labor intensive technology that the countries are transitioning out of agriculture and do not have the option to rely on unskilled labor intensive manufacturing. So that was available to countries such as Korea, Taiwan, and China, which achieved a significant part of their transformation in the 1990s. So at that point in time, the technology was not really very complex as it is right now. So these countries, because of that, these countries were able to make the transition. But this may not be the case with India. Now the technology has changed has become so much complex and has started replacing humans. So it can become difficult for India to grow this unskilled labor intensive sector. Also, robots today have started replacing unskilled laborers on assembly lines. Automation, machine learning, and artificial intelligence bots are coming in a big way in manufacturing sector. So that's the big problem with the argument that unskilled labor intensive sectors can improve the manufacturing, can increase the manufacturing in our country and create a lot of jobs. So if technology is a problem, then what India should do? Because we have to grow. We're a very big economy, and a lot of people are still don't have jobs. A lot of people are still working in informal sector. So what India should do? So the first thing that India can do is that India should also start making robots. India should start, creating a conducive environment for companies, for robotic companies, so that they can start manufacturing here. So India can start making robots and start outsourcing them to countries where there's a need of robots for automation. So there are countries like China. And China, there are a lot of manufacturing companies, and they need robots because they have started replacing, the unskilled laborers with robots. So they need robots. So one thing India can do is that they can start outsourcing start outsourcing this indigenously manufactured robots to countries like Taiwan and China. So that India can do, but for that to achieve, India will have to run a very large scale skill development program and create a conducive environment, obviously, for the robotic industry. And this way, India will be able, to provide jobs to a lot of people, and export of robots will also give a boost to the economy. But only export of robots alone won't be enough. Won't be enough to help India bring millions of people out of poverty. So what India needs to do, apart from creating a conducive environment for the robotic industry, India will have to create a well-educated workforce that is good enough for different types of jobs. And the biggest challenge that India has right now is the education system that we have in our country. It's in its current state is not good enough to create enough educated workforce. In fact, recently, out of all the engineers that India produced, it has been found that close to 30-40% are not cannot be given job. They are not good enough to be given job, despite of the fact that they have a degree, they completed their education. So so there's a need of reform in education sector, and there are basically three skills that a person needs to survive in this world. The first one is the cognitive abilities, like creativity problems, creativity problem solving, creativity and problem solving, logical reasoning, and physical abilities like physical strength, mental strength, etc. The second type of skill that is needed is basic skills that includes content skills and process skills like critical thinking or active listening. And the third skill that is needed is cross-functional skill, which includes social skill, system skills, complex problem-solving skills, resource management skills, and technical skills. So these are broadly three skill areas where our education system will have to focus and should be able to help students achieve these skills, because these are the primarily most broadly most important skills that a student needs to survive in this world. So to address these challenges, the education and skilling system has to change, obviously, but that's where India is lacking itself. So our education policy is decades old, and the new one is still stuck in the MHRD. The ministry is yet to appoint a person to do the draft on new policy. So that's where India needs to hurry a little and bring those reforms and policy changes into the education system so that we can think in long terms. Right now, the problem is definitely that a lot of uneducated people, and providing them jobs is going to be a big task. But in the long run, we cannot keep sustaining this uneducated population. In the long run, we have to create an education system that can bring reforms, that can create a workforce that is good enough to do different kinds of jobs, that is good enough to survive in this world. As I've already mentioned, those three basic skills that is needed. So our educational system should be good enough to provide those three basic skills. So that's I believe this is the end, and I guess that is all I want to say.